Hello everyone, my name is Aleš Zemánek and I am CEO of AZUB. I would like to welcome you to our first virtual meeting of AZUB dealers. I would better like to meet you at the Speci show or during the Recumbents CycleCon in the USA. But unfortunately, the situation in the world did not allow us to do so. The last 2 years have been really challenging. We learned a lot and a lot has changed. I would like to thank you, my colleagues here at the AZUB, for their fantastic work, but I would also like to thank you for your cooperation. So far, we are doing very well. Here at AZUB, we try to give you the best possible information and make as many bikes as possible. We hired 3 new colleagues, including 1 mechanic, and significantly increased production. I would like to ask you to help us now. Please accept the bikes we have produced ahead of the delivery time. At the moment, this is our big problem because we have nowhere to store such bikes and we also need to finance all the purchases we have to make now to keep you supplied in the future. Thanks for your cooperation and I hand over the presentation to my colleagues.
Dear business partners and friends, my name is Jan Herberg and I am responsible for sales and customer service here in AZUB. So basically for your happiness. First, I would like to thank you for your time and for your cooperation in the past. It was excellent. Thank you again. The last 2 pandemic years was not so easy for all of us. The part shortages, lack of personal meetings, unreliable logistic, but on the other hand, a lot of understanding from customers and a huge increase in demand. So the situation is still unpredictable and we must work hard and of course smart. Okay, let's stop talking and let's go to some important information for you. The first time in 2021 we had forced to increase the price in the middle of the season. But because of the good currency exchange rate and the big stock we made in 2021, we were able to keep the prices for the 1 year. So we expect the next price adjustment in June 2022. As some of you probably noticed, we are dispatching some trikes which were planned to the April. So we are a little bit ahead of our schedule. It's because of our excellent production team and some extra motivation. So instead of shortening the delivery time by 2 weeks, we have decided to build some e-trikes that will be available for immediate dispatch within a few weeks. Below in this presentation you can see the expected configuration. If you have any comments, let us know please. So let's go to the next topic. I will show you some numbers of our sales. So on this page you can see the total or the overall numbers of trikes and bikes we sold. We started with 359 units in 2018 and then there is about 20% increase every year. So in 2021 we produced 517 units. For this season, for season 2022, we have capacity of 550 units. Hope we will sell them. The next chart is bikes and trikes ratio. The number of two-wheelers or bikes we sell is basically still the same, but the total number of units or the trikes is growing. So the percentage proportion is still smaller. So the next page, the first chart shows us the popularity of our trike models. You can see that the Tyfly is the most popular by far. It had 53% in 2021, and in this season seems to be pretty same so far. The next chart shows the wheel size ratio. The trikes with 26 rear wheel are the most popular, but also Tyfly and Tricon GR have pretty stable position in our portfolio. This page shows us how many motorized trikes leave our production. So in 2021 there was 35% of trikes motorized. For this season we have bought motors for roughly 45% of our production. The second chart shows how many stronger motors like Steps E8000 or EP8 we sell, and the huge disproportion you see in 2018 and 2020 is caused by unavailability of the motor, of the stronger motor, because we used to have it in the offer like special, only for special request, and in 2021 we added EP8 to the official offer. So far this season shows that the EP8 is even more popular than the last season, but also its stock is limited, so we think, or I think, it will be pretty same like the last season. The numbers will be pretty same like the last season. So this chart shows us how many standard derailleurs and geared hub we sell. So as you see, the most popular choice is still the standard derailleur. But also roll-off is very popular, and for your information, last season we sold 105 roll-offs, which is basically 4 times more than 2 years before. So thank you for that. It's also your good work. And the last chart shows the color popularity. So the best or the most popular color is definitely deep black, but we are also quite happy that you use the color shop we offer. Some of the color combination are very nice. Okay, let's go to the next topic. The 33 of you probably remember the questionnaire we sent you last season, at the end of the last season. So I will bring some summary and some stats to you. So here are some important information. The first and most important question for me is the quality of our customer service. I'm extremely happy with your answers. Thank you. We will try to keep on with the good work. So this is the second evidence of our customer-oriented approach. Thank you, and we will try to keep our speed and quality high as much as possible. In this answer, you can see that the email is still the most popular way of communication. I'm also available for your phone calls, and from now I am also available on WhatsApp. Our trikes and bikes quality seems to be very important aspect of our business. We will try to keep the quality high, and I believe you will be very satisfied with the quality also in the future. Here we can see some space for improvements. So we will do our best to keep the delivery times and reliability at least as good as they are now. This chart shows us that you are basically happy with our margins, and I believe after our bonus program you will be even happier, because the discount or margin we have provided is bigger than before, because it's calculated from customer pricing. Here are some of your comments. We can do nothing with our origin, but we can definitely do something with our uncomfortable seat. And also with long time horizon, I believe we can do something with the weight of our trikes. After the winter, I should do also the same with me, lose some weight. You miss some items in our offer. Milan, my colleague from production, will tell you more about some of them. So thank you for your time and attention. Hopefully we will meet each other in Europe or in USA later this year. Now I will hand over the presentation to Milan, our production manager. Thank you.
Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Milan and I'm production manager here in AZUB. I've been working here for about 8 or 9 years, and now my task is to tell you what's new in production and to tell you about our difficulties and about the progress we have made, and so on and so on. So, greetings from the sunny Czechia. It's so sunny that I decided to come on a bicycle to commute to work this morning, which cost one thing. I lost my glasses, which might be a small problem because I cannot read anything from a paper now to tell you details and so on. So I will just tell you the most important thing, which will save your time, and maybe it's gonna be more funny than when reading from the paper. So let's start with the news we prepared for you and especially for the customers. The biggest news is our new hard-shelled seat, which is used for recumbent two-wheelers. I would say that the recumbent seat is probably the most underestimated component. Why do people go for recumbents? They seek comfort, mostly. And it doesn't matter that much whether you choose this or that kind of drivetrain or brakes. The comfort depends pretty much on whether the seat is comfortable or not. We experience some complaints from our customers about the shape of our seats, so we decided to change the shape, and we changed, I would say, 3 major things. We made the seats suitable for a wider group of riders, for different body shapes, also for different torso length, and our focus was mainly to make them comfortable and also, let's say, healthy from the point of ergonomics. We straightened the curve here in the upper part, which helps to achieve more relaxed rider's position with shoulders less protracted and with a natural position of shoulder blades as well. And it also helps taller riders to feel comfortable on shorter seats. Or better to say, in the past we had problems that some of people were at the very edge between the smaller seat and the larger seat. For example, 175 centimeters was like somewhere between M size and L size. Comfortable neither for the smaller riders nor for the larger riders. Nowadays, there is a much bigger overlap. So this seat will be comfortable for people, let's say, up to it's an M size, and it will be comfortable for people up to 181 centimeters. But still, it would be possible for these riders to use the larger seat, which is comfortable for riders from 175 or 76 centimeters. The only disadvantage is that the smaller curve here means that the seat provides less support for your shoulders. So when you want to go in pretty much reclined position and you want to push really hard against the pedals, you may feel like you're losing a little bit of power if compared to the older seat. But still, the comfort is more important for us, and this is what our customers tell us. The second change was in the bottom part. We made it longer and wider, and also with a raised very front part, which prevents the rider from sliding down while riding in more upright seat position. It was something really crucial and something we wanted to implement even sooner, but it was a pretty difficult task because we wanted to avoid any unpleasant feelings in the sensitive area. So it was a development in a way of trial and error. So it took us several tries before we came up with the shape all of us in AZUB team are comfortable with, and now we hope it will work just fine for you as well. So those are the biggest changes in the seat shape. Also, we changed the seat size marks for our seats. We have an S size for really short riders, then M for middle height riders, and L for riders from, let's say, 175 centimeters until whatever. And there is no XL seat because we feel there's no need for XL seat due to the lower curve here, which enables to fit larger riders without any issues. We have already been installing the new seat types on our two-wheelers. So some of you have already received them. All of the pending orders, all bikes on pending orders will be already equipped with the new type of the seat. And it might be a good idea for dealers to order this kind of seats for their demo bikes, because the riders will have a chance to test ride the bikes with the seat they will eventually get. So that's all for the hardshell seat. And we have also some interesting news regarding the mesh seats. So this is a prototype of our new mesh seat cover. It's a prototype, so the final version will be slightly different, I mean, in respect of colors or that kind of stuff. But the most important thing is that this seat mesh was designed to be really comfortable and to give you the feel of, let's say, floating on clouds. We know that we have always known that this was possible, but the problem was that we didn't feel like going for something comfortable, which might bring some disadvantages for performance-oriented riders, for example, like venting and so on. I must say that after I tried this seat cover, I was really surprised by how functional the seat cover is. There are two things I would like to stress. One of them is the airflow. I didn't expect much, but the shape of the air channels really allows the air to cool your back. And the second thing was dampening of road buzz or small vibrations. I did the testing on a Tetris without suspension, and the difference between having and not having padding on the mesh cover is simply huge. Another task was to prevent the rider from sliding down when the seat is in the upright position. It's the same like on our hardshell seats. So here's the raised bottom part. Still, no dramatic shapes, nothing extremely ergonomic, which would work for some people and would not work for others. And the design simply works. There are many small details we had to, let's say, discover before we were really satisfied with the design. For example, here there is a space for your butt to be comfortably pressed against the net. We just needed to have some space here. I would never imagined it were so important. And also there are some nice details such as AZUB logos, reflective materials used, or watertight zippers with easy access to internal pocket. So this is about the seats. And now let's move to something else. And one more thing regarding two-wheelers. We had some requests for equipping our bikes with 1x11, 1x12 drivetrain. It was not possible because the size of the largest sprocket on the cassette was limited to 34 teeth in case of the Mini and 36 teeth in case of the 6 and Max. There was a problem with the chain line and with the idler. We decided to solve this issue by adding one more mounting point for the second idler. So when you use two idlers, you can run cassettes up to 52 teeth without any issues. So all of our top line bikes are now 1x anything compatible. As for the biggest changes in our options, setups and configurations, we will introduce Brose SMAC motors later on this year. The reason for these steps is kind of backup for Shimano steps motors. You are probably familiar with the situation in the market and the difficulties in supply of material and components. So we wanted to make sure that whatever happens, we will always be able to build electric assisted trikes and bikes. So we decided to go for Brose as a reliable partner, reliable system, which also brings some advantages over the Shimano steps motors. So we expect to keep selling Shimano steps motors on regular basis. We have sufficient stock and we do not expect any problems with supply of these systems. But for those who are interested, there is the option to go for Brose. Brose motors offer several advantages over Shimano steps. They have a slightly bigger torque, 90 Newton meters. They offer over 400% assistance, and they are very easy to customize. You use an app like with Shimano, but it's much more simple, and you can easily adjust all the parameters you want. One of the disadvantages is that Brose motors are not compatible with Shimano steps, Di2 components we've been using. So it will be up to you to choose whether you go for the Shimano steps or for Brose with their own advantages, pros and cons. One more news regarding the e-assists. The good news is that we received CE certification for our tricycles and for the Shimano steps motors. CE certification for two-wheelers will follow within 1 or 2 months, and when the Brose motors will be ready, they will already have the CE certification as well. When we are talking about CE certification for recumbent bicycles and tricycles, it means there will be official permission for selling them in the EU market and for using them on public roads as electrically power assisted bicycles. There is one thing some people can be confused by, and this is that's the EN norm 15194. It's a harmonized standard, which means that normal bicycles are quite easy to certify by a simplified process. But unfortunately, recumbent bicycles and tricycles are excluded. It doesn't mean they cannot get permission to be used on public roads or they don't get certifications. That's definitely not true. They can. Just the process of testing and certificating is a little bit more complex. So the bikes are tested for safety. There are some material tests or mechanical tests. Also, they are tested for hazardous substances and for electromagnetic emissions. So, this is something we already have done, not by ourselves. We did it in cooperation with the Czech Engineering Testing Institute, which was an interesting experience for us because they tested recumbent specific solutions such as brakes on one and second front wheel, which was something new for them. And the question was whether it's good enough for an electrically powered bicycle. It is. It is. So the only thing important to keep in mind is there is one thing important to keep in mind, that there are some local rules or restrictions. So in some countries it's still necessary to have brakes both on the front and rear wheels. So just keep this in mind while ordering bikes for you or for your customers. And now, what's the situation in production, and what about the material supply issues? You can see the smile on my face, which means that in general everything is okay. I would say maybe better than expected. Definitely better than what we expected 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we got to a strange situation because there was total lack of components. There was no way to get some parts like cassettes, chains, or Schwalbe tires, no matter how much we were willing to pay for them. Simply, there was nothing. Difficult times. We learned to live with that. We learned to live with long lead times. And nowadays, the situations is a little bit different. I would say it's unstable, but the number of components and amount of material in the market is sufficient for running smooth production. And that's what we've been doing. At the moment, we do not experience any major production delays on our side. Just to let you know, there is just one delayed bike at the moment. It's like 3 weeks delayed because of some discontinued power coating color. And we expect just very short delays related to supply of Shimano components and Shimano EP8 motors. It might be interesting for you to know how things work regarding the transportation. When we order some parts from Shimano, we wait for about a year until they are ready, and then it takes about 6 weeks to transport parts and components from Japan to Germany by sea, and then it takes another 6 weeks to transport the same parts from Germany to Czechia. You can see the distance, the time is the same. Simply, there are some serious troubles on side of road transportation providers in Europe. So things are delayed, and this is something we have to fight with. But we have managed to order parts in time, and we have everything we need ready for you. So in 2020 and 2021, we did our best to keep the range of our models and components as wide as possible, or just as wide as it used to be. And we did our best to always deliver in a timely manner. Nowadays, the situation has changed. We are pretty much dependent on material supply, and we have to be flexible both in the choice of components. So sometimes you get a mix of Shimano and Microshift, for example. Sometimes you get Samox cranksets instead of Shimano cranksets, and so on. But always it's an upgrade from our side, or you are informed about possible alternatives, and it's your choice to go for that or that option. One thing that troubles us right now is that we are forced to build some trikes and bikes in advance, not on time, but 2 or sometimes even 3 months sooner than expected, just to keep the production running smoothly. It's a good, it can be good news for your customers because they can get the bikes earlier, but not so much for countries where everything is covered with snow right now, for example. But please be so kind and help us in this matter by accepting to get these trikes and bikes sooner. So that's pretty much all from me, and I would like to ask Honza to go on with the presentation and tell you what he has at his heart.
Hi guys, Honza here with the marketing part of the presentation and also with some plans for the future. Thank you again for answering the questions in the survey. We have asked a few questions about marketing, and here are some of the results. Most of you think that our marketing is very good. Some think that it is just common, and some think that it is best in the industry. What that means is that we still have quite some room for improvement, and I definitely plan to work on that. I also have a new colleague in the marketing, so we are two of us at the moment. Alda will take care about the Czech and Slovakian market, and I will be solely responsible for international marketing and for Recumbents. So I will have more time to work on different projects. We have also asked how informative is our website, and here the results are pretty good. Most of you think that there are all the information you can imagine, and less than half think that there are still some places where we can improve the website. I even have a new website in the plan, but that will a completely redesigned website, but that will come in 2 or 3 years, let's say. So, but I will definitely work on simplifying some of the parts and making it generally better than what it is now. We have also asked about different marketing and sales activities and how important they are according to your opinion. And you have mostly mentioned as the extremely important the active customer service and the quality website, which I think we are covering pretty well at the moment, also thanks to the great work Jan and Lukáš do. So, but you have also mentioned a website in a local language. I have to say that I have been thinking about it for years. We have even started to translate it to French, but I am concerned about having it up to date. Doing just the first part, just to translate it, it's kind of easy. It's just a matter of time and matter of how much money we will pay for it. But keeping it up to date in, let's say, 2 other languages, in German and French, would be a much more difficult task. And if we don't have a time or manpower or whatever, concentration in the future, there can be quite some misunderstandings, confusions. Some parts of the website would be translated, some wouldn't be translated. So I am afraid about that, and I'm still hesitating to work on this pretty large goal, let's say. What we have done in this term is translating the catalog. We have the catalog in 4 languages, English, Czech, French, and German. So I believe that this helps. The catalog is easy to download. It is quite visible there. We try to promote it. So I believe this can work at least a bit as the website in the local language. And we are going to have the manuals in 4 languages as well pretty soon. They are all translated at the moment. So we are working on the graphic part at the now, and we will print it and send it to you quite in a short time, let's say in a month or so. It is also a part of the CE certification, so we have to do it anyway. The second part of this question was about some content. So you all think that all different videos are important, extremely important, very important, quite important, whatever. We were working on it. In the last years, we have produced quite some of the videos. It is definitely where our budget goes if there are no shows. So we are going to work on it in the future as well. And I hope that I will be able to introduce you our new ambassador and very known YouTuber who will help us with this task. So that guy, you definitely know, will not only produce videos for us internally or like an AZUB videos, but also will make videos about our products for his YouTube channel. So, but I don't want to announce the cooperation right now because it is not finalized in 100%. There are still little details we have to solve, and but I'm pretty sure you will like this cooperation. Other things you mentioned were travel stories, and you were ranking highly, or you gave a high ranking. Was travels? There were travel stories and different photos. I think we have quite some travel stories already. We are working on new cooperations as well. So we will have few new travelers publishing content, and we will share it with you and with our customers. And we also plan to do some new photo shooting for sure. I do have, if you need some photos, you can either send us a request and you can choose whatever graphic or whatever photo from the website, and we will try to deliver you the high resolution version of it. But you can also go to a support section of our web page and then click on the download link, and then on the download page you can click on the Media Kit tab, and there is a link to Dropbox to a huge gallery of studio and lifestyle photos as well, and you can use any of them freely. You see that there are also tabs for catalogs, manuals, and logos, so you can use those as well. The other question was in the survey was about things that would be helpful for you as a dealer. So very highly ranked was a biweekly informative newsletter mainly about the delivery situation. So this is what we are planning to do. We hope to start next week, and we will try to do it biweekly, because in our experience from our suppliers, it is very helpful, especially when the delivery situation is dynamic, it's changing. So this we will do. And what you have requested most or what would you find very extremely helpful would be an e-shop for spare parts and some login web page with your orders and invoices and some other stuff. So at the moment I tell you we will work on it, and I will talk about it a bit later. So your requirements that were written. So you wanted to have more information about accessories, or even dynamic configurator showing options and accessories in the configurator visibly, let's say. The first part is that I would like to show you where you can get already some good photos, and where your customers can get idea about how different accessories or options are assembled together, or how they simply look on the bike. So again, go to our website, click on the community link in the menu, then click on the topics, and you get to a page where all the tags used in the blocks are being displayed. And in the top part, under the quick link title, you can find what we think would be the most useful for you. So there are names of the different accessories and some of the options, let's say shifters and so on, we use. And if you click on them, let's say a roll off, you get to a page where all the different blog posts where that particular accessory or option is mentioned and is visible on the photos, those blog posts are displayed there. So you can go through them, you can try to search what you are looking for in there, and I think it's a great source. I will work on displaying those blog posts on the pages of the particular accessories as well, but that is in the plan at the moment. We have to rely on availability, or what we have available right now. So back to your requirements: lifestyle photos with women or senior riders. Yes, up until now we were using mostly us as the models, so we need to work with some other friends or parents or some other guys on this task, and I hope to do some photo shooting with women as well as seniors this year. We have already talked about all the different materials in local languages, so the catalog is ready and the manuals will be ready soon, and the website, well, as I have mentioned, we will see, but it's not gonna be this year, probably not the next year, that we would start working on a multilingual page. Somebody asked about mentioning stock trikes on the dealer map, like that some of you as dealers have some trikes or bikes in stock. For me, everything like what we don't really have in our control being displayed on our web page is very tricky. Like the demo bikes you have, because just keeping the demo bikes up to date is very difficult. And yeah, that ambassador I have talked about was looking for a bike for the Thai Fly 26 or Thai Fly X in the northwest coast of USA to try, and he called all the dealers that have at least some TIE Fly mentioned as a demo bike, but none of them have one. So we are definitely not going to mention that some dealers have trikes in stock, because that can be true now, but can be very different in a week or two. But if somebody asks and we have that information, we can definitely recommend the customer to contact that particular dealer. And somebody also asked for an access to the dealer portal on the main page, and I can say that on the bottom menu, so down there on the right side, you can already see a dealers section link, so you can use that. So let's talk about the configurator now. We are already working on a new version of it, and it is clear why we do so. You will see it just in a moment. 1/3 of you think that our current configurator is best in the industry, so thank you for that. And 60% think it is very good. And we are really going to have the best in-class configurator in the near future, let's say. One of the reasons why we really need it is that your answer in the survey was that when you work with the customer, 84% of you, or 85, use the configurator. So it is very needed and useful tool that we need to have perfectly working, let's say. Just for your information, every week there are 50 to 90 configurations made. So we don't know how many people or users are there, but we know that about 50 to 90 configurations are being made every week. So it is important. We have had some issues. You probably know about them, but the major one is that we are no longer able to do any changes in the graphic or in the functions. So the company that built it for us is no longer interested in working with us on the configurator, so we really have to find a new serious partner for this. Also, from discussing the configurator with you, we know that there are simply too many options after the user save the configuration. So he can just save it, or he can send it to he can order it from AZUB or from a chosen dealer, but he can also ask the dealer or share the configuration on a social networks, which I don't remember I have ever seen it shared. But definitely the ask the dealer option has been used and has made quite some confusions, because dealers were commenting on it, but never, or not never, but quite often didn't get any reply from the customer. There was no email or telephone number and so on and so forth. It was confusing. We will definitely simplify that part and change it. The aim was to get more leads. So if we have a customer working on the configurations in the configurator, we wanted to have him do something like send an email, ask a question, to direct him and contact him, get the contact from him to start working with him on a new AZUB bike. But yeah, this really didn't work well, at least not, or at least for some of you. So we will need to rethink this part. As I mentioned, social networks or sharing on Facebook, that didn't work either, so we won't have that option in the new configurator. And we will definitely work on the thing that there are complete configurations saved. So up until now, just the configuration or specification of the bike was saved, but not the name of the customer, not any new notes like weights or heights or notes, general. So the name of the customer and so on. So this will be improved as well. Your requirements there were, you asked for more information about the options. I think we have done it right at the very beginning. There were a lot of information, but during the time when we uploaded new options, we were not really having it all up to date. There are some pictures, images missing, some information missing, and that's exactly what I have talked about, that it is quite easy to do it right at the beginning, but much worse, much more difficult to keep it up to date later. Configurations with detailed prices that would go through the email or as a PDF. This is something what we definitely want to have there. You have also mentioned that there are some options we have in our offer but are missing in the configurator. This is mostly because we have a limited stock of such parts. And if we would offer it, publicly, it would be, the stock would be empty pretty soon. So usually those are components used by only specific dealers, but by only some of you, and we would like to keep that stock of parts for you, basically. So if you have a special request, you can always contact us and we can build the bike for you as an epic level build. Yeah, I hope this answered the question. Current lead times for each model and drivetrain combination is basically impossible. Again, to have it up to date would be very difficult. So you have the option to go into the dealer section and you can see the delivery time there. If there are some exceptions, like the roll-off have a longer lead time, or some hydraulic brakes, we inform there about it, but not in the configurator, which would make it much more difficult. Different VAT rates for different countries. In the EU, it is very difficult. It would be very confusing for the customers because we would not be able to have a recommended retail prices. So we have that issue only with countries where the VAT is much higher than an average, let's say, and we don't plan to have this somehow solved. Maybe later, after all, the configurator is working smoothly. But what we plan to have is to show a correct dealer price for particular dealer. If there is a common duty, if there is a common tax, or if there is a common fee for something or shipping rate, we plan to have it displayed for you as for a particular dealer, so you see your price, your final price. Dynamic configurator showing options and accessories. It is again something what we don't plan to offer or to have, because keeping it up to date would be difficult, and it is really an expensive and time-consuming stuff. So we have we produce only 500 bikes. We are not Ford, or we are not Renault or Skoda with thousands and hundreds of thousands cars sold, or you know, some of the huge bike manufacturers. So we really can't afford a function like this. Maybe in the future, if the technology gets cheaper, we can think about it. But for the color shop, which I see and which I think is much easier task, we have it here, and I hope that in 2 or 3 years we can show it and have it somehow in the configurator, that the customer would see how would be able to configure the colors of specific parts and see how the bike or trike would look like with such colors. So the configurator, all the project has been running for some time already. We have chosen the company who will build it for us already, and we hope to have the configurator itself ready for the next season. So at the end of the year, we hope to have some prototype. Maybe we will share it with some of you so you can comment on it. But that will be a configurator, you know, something what you see now, what we have now, with not so many new functions, maybe with less functions at the end, like ask the dealer. Then in 2023, we hope to have the eShop for spare parts and accessories, and the payment gate for everything included. You will already have a login page there where you will see your orders of spare parts, your invoices, and some other information. And then at the end of the 2023, maybe during the 2024, we will see how things go. We will have a system where you will be able to change the configuration into an order and order the bike from us. And there you will see your orders, not only of spare parts and accessories, but also of the bikes and invoices. So all like a complete information system. So that's our plan, and quite a huge project for the next 2 or 3 years. So the summary is, we will work on the new configurator. We will have more videos to come, and also more travel stories, because we have some new ambassadors starting to work with us. And I would like to talk also about a new building. So you know that we are still working on something. We are now in a hall in our little factory that has been built in 2018, but because the demand during the last 2 years has been so high, we are already crowded here. Things are everywhere. It starts to get a bit messy. So we need more space. Those of you who have been here, you know, we have some land here where we can build 2 more halls, 2 more buildings like what we have now. And we are already working on the blueprints, let's say, and on this part of the project. It will be purely recumbent. For recumbents, we may have our own paint shop there and even a prototype workshop, or workshop for models that are sold in few units a year only, like the Twin, for example, so we can build it in-house. But those are a bit of, it's kind of dreaming at the moment. We will see. And I would like to assure you that we are working on a new model as well. You could see some of the improvements, like the new hardshell seat, new mesh seat, some little improvements here and there, but we are also working on a new project, and we are excited about it, but it is confidential at the moment. I wouldn't say a word about it until we are sure we can introduce it and launch it in few months. So we hope to have it ready for in 2023, and you will definitely like it. And that's it for the moment. Thank you for watching, and yeah, see you during the Zoom meeting in 10 minutes. So get connected. The link is in the description below the video, below the YouTube video, or you have received it in the email. And please stay muted, because we cannot handle 30 unmuted dealers. But we would like to see you all, so keep your camera running so we see each other. And if you have some questions, write them into the chat. We hope you have questions and we will answer them. Yeah, that's it. So see you there in 10 minutes. Bye for now.